Many private promoters not hosting events for All Year's Night. Government distances itself from a notice widely circulated on social media but believed to be a scam. A state of emergency declared in Trinidad and Tobago. And in sports, Pelicans and Warriors remain in the top three after victories today in the BIM 10 tournament.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC NewsNight, starting now.
Good evening, I'm Pearson Bowen. Many event promoters are opting out of hosting events this All Year's Night. One of the veterans believes it's because producing events for the occasion is no longer profitable. Anesta Henry has this report.
Normally at this time of the year, radio stations and the social media platforms are bombarded with advertisements for All Year's Night parties and fetes. However, that is not the case this year. According to veteran promoter Chetwin Stewart, the escalating cost of producing events and the difficulties with securing adequate sponsorship are not sitting well with him and his counterparts.
This night has always been one of the most expensive events to pull off by promoters. So a lot of promoters have been buried in the past. So I think a lot of people holding back. You say my All Year's Night is that right? I would not pay a security man probably $150. All Year's Night you want $250 or $300 because you don't want to leave your girlfriend home or the wife forever. A band I would normally pay say $10,000 All Year's Night you got to pay $22,000. So it's very expensive. And it's very risky now too because what's happening is that promoters don't get the sponsorship they used to get.
He recalls the days when Barbadians had a long list of All Year's Night events to choose from.
Years ago, you had All Year's Night about 20 different private parties, private promoters.
The managing director of 4x4 further explains why All Year's Night is no longer a big occasion for promoters.
If you normally do an event that costs you $100,000 to do, All Year's Night it costs you $300,000.
And while promoters are holding back their coppers, Mr. Stewart says hotels are hosting private events, while many Barbadians are choosing to attend house parties.
Beach lanes, a lot of house parties, a lot more people you can see on the beach watching the fireworks in different locations. You see thousands of people coming up.
Mr. Stewart says Power by 4 will be hosting a beach event for friends and family tomorrow night.
We decided to go back this year. We're just doing a lane down on the beach, Turtle Bay. That is right next to Harbor Lake, Our friends and family will come down and stuff. And, we get back, wherever beach house, we get back in drinks.
For those who have still not decided how to ring in the new year, they can consider the Q All Year's Night celebration to be held at Pelican Village. And it is free. Anesta Henry, CBC News.
Well, ahead of All Year's Night festivities, head of the Barbados Association of Medical Practitioners, Dr. Linda Williams, is urging Barbadians to take all necessary precautions to safeguard their health. She's advising people to wear a mask if prudent to do so when venturing out.
Even at this time for All Year's Night, we want to remind you that if you're going to be in a crowded space and you're having flu-like symptoms, protect those around you from catching the same illness by wearing a mask. And if you have immune compromise or you're elderly and you're going to be out and about for All Year's Night, then if you're in a crowded space where there are lots of people singing, shouting, dancing, you can also consider wearing a mask to prevent catching one of the multiple respiratory illnesses that are in circulation.
Dr. Williams further urges the public to make 2025 the year of preventative health, and she advises exercising, eating right, and taking all medications as prescribed can prevent non-communicable diseases.
We also want you to pay attention to your numbers. If you have hypertension, record your blood pressure. If you have diabetes, you should check your blood sugar regularly and make adjustments, or contact your doctor if you see that the numbers are above where they're supposed to be. Taking precaution is always better than finding cure, so let's make this a year of preventive medicine. Chronic illnesses as well as acute illnesses do not take holidays. All the best to everyone. God bless you.
Government has distanced itself from a notice widely circulated on social media indicating that it had created a Barbados Youth Empowerment Fund program. The notice purports that the government has approved an empowerment grant fund of 50,000 Barbados dollars to be paid to unemployed youth and to compensate citizens affected by the crisis in the country. It has asked people to click the link to apply. However, Minister in the Ministry of Finance, Economic Affairs and Investment, Ryan Strawn, is stressing that government is in no way associated with that fund.
In light of all the scams in recent times, I ask persons not to click the link nor provide any information to these criminals because you do not know the real motives of the persons behind these initiatives. Telling lies in of itself is not a crime. However, telling lies to solicit information for unauthorized usage is indeed a crime, especially financial crime. But this is just plain old fraud. While segments of the population have raised concerns of the proposed cybercrime bill, as is their right to do, the criminals are busy seeking to use any and all avenues to commit crime in cyberspace, and I'm certain the so-called Barbados Youth Empowerment Fund program is the latest iteration. This is not the first and certainly will not be the last. I urge Barbadians to be more discerning regarding the real threats to their privacy and to be assured that the government has your back. I also appeal to citizens that if you have any idea who's responsible for these scams, please contact the Barbados Police Service.
Minister in the Ministry of Economic Affairs and Investment, Senator Chad Blackman, who has been selected to take the baton from Member of Parliament for St. James North, Edmund Hinkson, says serving is no stranger to him. Senator Blackman, who admits to quietly working alongside MP Hinkson in the constituency, says his exposure to public life started from the age of 18 as a parish ambassador on the Youth Council and Youth Ambassador to CARICOM. He was speaking on the Let's Talk About It radio show hosted by Rashid Best on Q100.7 FM.
And then, of course, more formally as an ambassador of the country to the UN in Geneva and around Europe, and then, of course, representing now a global organization. So my journey over the last 20 plus years has been one of representation at every single level that you can think about, whether it be in church, whether it be at the community level, nationally. So I see this process in my own life now, and political career, as it were, as a continuation of that. Because the truth is, if you have served all these different spaces, and you serve at the global level, to serve your own people in a community or a constituency is a very humbling thing. But equally, it's a very important thing. And that's where I see this journey.
And as the country prepares to enter 2025, Senator Blackman is encouraging all Barbadians to recommit to their ideals of growth, development, and serving God.
But equally, as we do so, looking after our brothers and sisters. Thirdly, ensuring that as we grow, that we do so in a sustainable way. Everything that we do, whether you're a shop owner, whether you're a business owner, whether you're a sports club, resilience must be part and parcel of what you do. And fourthly and lastly, thinking big. There's no harm in thinking big. There's no cost in thinking big. And the bigger you think, the better ideas come. And then you work backwards in terms of what you want. That must be who we are as a people. And I look forward to our year next year as a country being a blessed one for everybody. And I encourage all of you to really just dig deep and to reimagine what Barbados must look like for all of us.
Coming up, the attraction of Speightstown. Speightstown has been busy with shoppers and tourists over the tourist season and the Christmas holidays. The town has seen some progress over the last couple of years with new businesses and activities making it attractive to both tourists and locals. Now, to see how they were enjoying the area, Akeem Klinkett took a stroll through the town.
Speightstown is one of the major towns in Barbados, but sometimes it can be forgotten, especially by people who don't live in the north. The town that owns the north has some peculiar landmarks and a feel about it that is completely different from the other towns in Barbados. The town has seen some significant progress in the last couple of years with new business opening, while some visit the town for enjoyment. One person from the south was there with his friends and family, and his take was there is a lot to do in Speightstown, but it has to be a special occasion because of the traveling time.
Speightstown got a lot to offer, you know. Like we do sometimes fishing or spear fishing off of the sea, and it's just a nice laid-back vibe. It's not as hectic as the South Coast could get, so we like it for that reason.
And the actual town in terms of shopping, you ever try shopping?
It offers its own vibe. It's very different to town, but it's its own unique vibe. So I like it, but we don't get down here too often because it's a bit of a travel, right?
One couple who lives in New York were also there, and they said they love it so much they are thinking of moving to Barbados.
We stayed here because it's closer to the beach. My wife likes the beach, so it's much easier to go to the beach from here.
As you know, you are visiting, so I'm not sure if you're from the north of the island. Are you from the north of the island or traditionally?
From St. James.
From St. James, right. So as the guy would say, Speightstown offers its own vibe. What are your thoughts on what Speightstown is for you?
It's quite interesting, actually, from what I knew it to be. So I think that's a good thing. New roads, new buses, lots of homes, lots of people, very friendly.
And as it pertains to the shopping, have you done any shopping at Speightstown? Okay, let me get her.
Well, that's what I was thinking. We've been to the bakery. Of course, the supermarket is right here, and a couple of shops I've been to visited. So yeah, it offers great shopping.
Compared to island living, is it everything that you expected it to be?
Yes. We're thinking about moving. We're trying to move on. Yes.
And former West Indies cricketer and Barbados captain Kirk Edwards, who is from the north, spoke on how Speightstown means everything to him.
Shopping for people in the north, Speightstown has been operating for a number of years. You know, guys come to Speightstown, get fresh produce. You know, you got Eddie's, you got Jordan's. I've seen a new set of cafes developing over time. You know, the major pharmacies. So Speightstown has everything else that every other place in Barbados have.
One last thing, we're talking about all the new things that have been coming to Speightstown. Even nightclubs now are even coming to Speightstown. So even more people be traversing the area. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think as long as a nightclub comes to Speightstown, you know what you have is the beauty of the north. You know, you find down here is a very welcoming culture. So whatever you experience down here, whether it be on the beach, you know, a little further inland, people are very welcoming and, you know, very friendly people. So that is what creates the experience.
Now, Speightstown was settled around 1630 and was once Barbados' busiest port. It is the second largest town in Barbados. Akeem Klinkett, CBC News.
It's truly a beautiful town indeed. Thank you, Akeem. Well, it was a night of music, drama and dazzling lights at the People's Cathedral last evening as the church presented its highly anticipated Christmas production, The Singing Tree. Sherwood McCaskey was in attendance.
The event combined captivating musical performances, dramatic storytelling, and an enchanting display of dancing Christmas lights that drew an enthusiastic audience of all ages. Pastor Joel Callender is the senior pastor of the church.
Is a musical presentation that involves a tree that you will see in the background where we have our singers there. The singing tree tells the story of Jesus, his birth, his ministry, his death, resurrection, and as well the hope of his coming again.
This production, that is now part of the musical and theatrical heritage of Barbados, is a combination of the various ministries in the church.
Drama, dance, rods of praise, which is really for the hearing impaired so that they can see what is happening. And we have as well our stage lighting crew and our technical crew and the graphics and so on that you see there. And this is what is involved in the singing tree.
And as to one man's experiences of the night's production,
a fantastic presentation. We saw lots of creativity, originality, professionalism, and again, the name of Jesus Christ was glorified. We know that Christmas is about glorifying Jesus, and we saw a very good portrayal of his entire life before us, and I think it was a very, very powerful presentation.
The remaining dates for the presentations are Thursday the 2nd, Friday the 3rd, and Sunday the 5th at 5 and 7:30.
Sherwood McCaskey, CBC News.
Well, gunshots rang out loudly before midday today along Worthing Main Road in Christchurch. The result, a young male nursing multiple gunshot wounds. Wendy Burke has the details.
Police report that the incident occurred around 11:17 a.m. at Rendezvous Christchurch at the Devashan Bar and Chill, which is opposite the now-closed Trimart supermarket. The victim is a male in his 20s who was outside the bar when he was shot multiple times by a number of unknown males. Police say he fell to the ground and the attackers then drove away in a white motorcar. The victim was taken to the Queen Elizabeth Hospital by private motorcar. Police are asking anyone with information that can assist in their investigations to contact the nearest police station or Crime Stoppers at 1-800-TIPS. Investigations are continuing into the matter. Wendy Burke, CBC News.
Well, joining us tonight for Sports Night is Mark Seal. Mark, good evening.
Very good evening. We're going to start with cricket, where Pelicans remain one of only two teams undefeated in the 2024 BIM 10 tournament after defeating the winless Voyagers today at Windward. Batting first, Voyagers were kept to 84 for 7 of their 10 overs, with Akeem Springer top scoring with 27. Jaden Edmond was the pick of the bowlers with 3 for 18. In reply, Pelicans ended on 89 for 6 off 6.5 overs to win by 4 wickets. Zach McCaskey was unbeaten on 29, where Mario Samuel took 3 for 18. Pelicans and Settlers have 3 wins each for 12 points, but Settlers have a superior net run rate. Voyagers are at the bottom of the standings with an 0-3 record. Meanwhile, Titans are also winless after their third match today against Warriors. Warriors batted first and posted 109 for 5. Even Grant top scored with 35, while Damian Davis took 2 for 19. Titans were then limited to 89 for 6 to lose by 20 runs. Sadrian Ward was impressive with 4 for 6 from 2 overs, while Cheyenne Brathwaite made 39. We have full match highlights.
Our match today features the Titans versus the Warriors, and the Titans, who have won the toss and elected to field, strike as early as the second delivery, as Kelman is again going for that big drive, again in the same area. This time it has gone all the way.
And with an experienced campaigner like Damian Davis, and look at that, just at that, either 6 or dot.
Kelman is in the air, chance for a catch, easily taken. This time giving himself a room outside the restricted circle. Bowls the first ball, strikes him on the pad, appeals and wins the verdict from umpire Sherwin Codrington. As this time he's going to the shorter side, but hitting it just as long. And again, giving himself room.
As we see him running up again.
Stiff medium pace. Down the ground comes Carton, hits this one straight. Angles across him. This time he's getting closer to the yard stump. Gets a short delivery, cuts it away, and is caught. It's ever so simple by Ashley Nurse there at point.
As we see him running again.
Struck again in the air. Reefer goes back, circles under it, and makes it a fantastic take.
Yes, and as we see Kemar Hart running for the final delivery of this over.
And the young Zion Brathwaite whips this one away for 6, also nonchalantly. On the pads, whipped away high. You talk about that eastern side being the longer boundary, but that doesn't matter. That one was beautifully timed. And his first delivery is hit down the ground and caught by Kemar Smith. And he's gone high. The fielder, Ronaldo Kelman, the substitute fielder, struck on the pad and given. And he's bowling this one just on the leg stump. Chance for a catch. The bowler comes onto it and makes it. And he's bowled him. Walking across that off stump is Reaper, hits this one high out towards the safe hands of Kemar Smith at long on. Here he is, and this one is struck away along the ground up to deep mid wicket. A forlorn effort by the Titans ends in defeat.
And that result sees the Warriors moving into third spot on 8 points with a 2-1 record.
Mark, thank you. We're coming right back after this break with our business report. In business tonight, Lifetime Cooperative Credit Union Limited, which is commemorating its 35th anniversary this year, has hundreds of members and millions in assets. That's according to General Manager for the past 26 years, Edmund Grimes, who says the financial institution, which has faced numerous challenges and overcome many obstacles, continues to grow as a result of committed leaders and members. He made the remark while addressing the 35th anniversary dinner and awards ceremony.
This credit union was started with the idea that employees of the then BS&T group of companies and immediate relatives could accumulate savings.
Well, as the credit union looks to the future, Mr. Grimes is urging members and staff to stay positive, resilient and united. And several of the credit unions' staff were awarded for long-standing service, including Mr. Grimes, who received an award for 25 years of service. The Barbados Cooperative and Credit Union League Limited remains laser-focused on securing deposit insurance for all credit union savers. The assurance from President Kemar Cumberbatch in the organization's New Year's message.
It is an inequality that must be corrected with urgency. Today, there are 23 credit unions operating in Barbados, many of which are small with assets under $15 million, and some with less than even $4 million in assets. The leadership of these financial cooperatives know their members individually, are aware of their personal circumstances, and create solutions that attain to those specific needs.
Mr. Cumberbatch said the environment in which credit unions operate is one that is constantly evolving, and members must have frank discussion with their leadership on the way forward.
We have seen that shift towards consolidation, and the League will facilitate and support such efforts. The power of the movement is not in the number of credit unions on the island, but in the strength and stability of the sector. Interest in becoming a member of a credit union is not waning. Consolidation of credit unions will not diminish the sector's role in the local financial architecture. What it will do is ensure that credit unions are more competitive, resilient, and better positioned to meet the service needs of members and the demands of regulators.
Time now for today's trading report.
In Jamaica, Victon Energy Limited, with 24,771,400 units, was the volume leader, followed by Trans-Jamaican Highway Limited and Maybury Jamaica Equities Limited. In Trinidad and Tobago, Massey Holdings Limited was the volume leader, with 157,972 shares changing hands for a value of Trinidad and Tobago $617,724.52, followed by Republic Financial Holdings Limited. And here in Barbados, Emera Deposit Receipt was the sole security, trading 73 shares at Barbados $20 each.
That's tonight's business report. The weather report is next. And so with tonight's weather report, we're joined by Carrie-Ann O'Neill. Carrie-Ann, good evening.
Good evening to you, Pearson, and good evening, everyone. Well, the ridge pattern was the dominant feature today. As a result, we had occasionally cloudy skies during the morning. By afternoon, it was mostly sunny. We are reminded of those choppy seas around the island, and convergence maintained some showers and rain across the Guianas. The maximum temperature today was 28 degrees Celsius, the minimum 23 degrees. At present, the temperature stands at 25 degrees Celsius, the relative humidity 71%, those winds are coming in from the northeast. We take a look now at some atmospheric conditions across the region, where the temperatures are ranging just around 20 to 26 degrees Celsius. The humidity shows moisture is building over in St. Lucia as well as Trinidad, and the winds, they are generally light to moderate across the region. We take a look now at our satellite feed, where the ridge pattern is now the dominant feature. We had mostly sunny skies here in Barbados during the afternoon. We saw some low-level clouds drifting across the region, generating just light showers. Meanwhile, the winds, they're peaking at 60 knots for us here in Barbados. Those seas, they are moderate in open water, with swells peaking at 2.5 meters. We are urging small craft operators as well as sea bathers to exercise caution. Those seas are quite choppy around the island. Later on tonight, we are expecting clear to partly cloudy skies along with cool conditions. Further south, convergence generated some showers as well as rain across the Guianas. And over in the Western Caribbean, partly cloudy to cloudy skies along with few showers prevailed across that area. That's our first look at the weather. After the break, we'll have the forecast. Welcome back. In the forecast for tomorrow, the sun is expected to rise at 6:21 and will set at 5:43. Now, the first high tide is expected at 4:50 in the early morning and the first low at 9:38 a.m. The seas, moderate in open water with swells peaking at 2.5 meters. We are urging small craft operators as well as sea bathers to exercise caution. Meanwhile, those winds, they're coming in from the east, northeast to the east, and they're peaking at 30 kilometers per hour. For us here at Barbados tonight, we can expect clear skies along with cool temperatures. And over the next 3 days, partly cloudy skies only with a few light showers can be expected.
Mark Steele is back. That means more sports. Mark.
Indeed. Australia took 7 wickets after tea on the final day of the 4th test to win a classic against India by 184 runs. They snatched a 2-1 series lead and boost their chances of qualifying for the World Test Championship final. The 5th day began at the Melbourne Cricket Ground with the hosts 228 for 9 in their second innings. They only added 6 runs before being bowled out for 234, with Jasprit Bumrah finishing with 5 for 57. Now, chasing 340 for victory, or more likely needing to bat out 92 overs for the draw, India were coasting on 121 for 3 just after tea, but then they lost 7 wickets for 34 runs to be bowled out for 155 inside the final hour. Yashasvi Jaiswal, he top scored with 84, while player of the match, Aussie skipper Pat Cummins, took 3 for 28. The result has left India's hopes of making the World Test Championship final on a knife edge. India need to record a victory in the final test and then hope that other results will fall their way. But for Australia, a win will secure their place in the final alongside South Africa. Now, that 5th test is in Sydney from January 2nd. On to basketball, where the Oklahoma City Thunder have extended their current NBA leading winning streak to 11 games after last night's victory over the Memphis Grizzlies. It was a top-of-the-table clash in the Western Conference, with the Thunder winning by 24 points. With that score, that's sports.
Good score. Thank you, Mark. Have a good evening, sir. We're right back after this break.
edition of Minding Your Business. It has been a while since we checked in with Omar Ward and his business Coral by Hand. And it's no surprise that the creative award-winning businessman has been continuing to grow from strength to strength. Omar recently embarked on a major project that has seen him creating some amazing monuments in different communities across the island that reflect some of the outstanding men and women from those communities. He talked about how he got involved.
That came about by a gentleman named Greg, so he was part of the St. Peter committee, and he just saw me side of the highway caravan, and he told me about it, and I was like, okay. Then he passed by again, he bring this drawing, and he said, oh, listen, these are the names I want to put in the books and whatever. So I told him the best thing I could do, when I get to the book part, I got to put a towel inside so that I can write on the people's names that significant to St. Peter. And also, when it comes to the parish of St. Peter now, what I did, instead of leaving it plain, I decided to look at the actually St. Peter map on Google, and I draw all the roads and the different locations and different areas, so that when you're looking at it, you see it making sense.
Now, the success of his work in St. Peter opened the door for another major project, which Omar recently completed in the Bayland, highlighting some of the outstanding people who came from the constituency of St. Michael South. And now he is poised to begin work to further highlight the outstanding sons and daughters of yet another constituency, and this one has special significance.
The next one give me for Bushall, right? That's the Prime Minister constituency. That's the next one I got on the radar now. So I'm making sure now that from this one now, I step up my game.
And he shared an even wider vision for his special creations.
Another thing too that I really look at to execute, I'm looking at the Botanical Gardens. I know it's a very big area, and I want to do 11 parishes, but I want to make them got like 8 feet in size for each parish. You will put them like 5 feet apart, so that people can walk in between them, and then they will take wonderful pictures, you know what I mean?
With their parish.
With their parish. And also too, so that put some lights up underneath, so that on the night now, when you light up, you will see the map of Barbados light up.
That would be beautiful. Meanwhile, Omar says one of the greatest joys of his work relates to his ultimate legacy, his son Raniel, who is already starting to excel at the family business.
Having my son side of me and doing this work, I want to pass on the legacy, so that I don't want it to die with me, because it's a very niche market, right? So it's best to get my son, one or two more young people that are really interested to come and join, because look, this is a dying trade. My son, he could catch on very fast, the sauce trade, carve a lot of things by himself. So I really appreciate how my son, Renewal Ward, is really handling himself.
In the meantime, Omar recently started to expand his range of products by creating some customized headstones for grieving families. But we'll share more about that venture in an upcoming episode. But for now, if you'd like to get in contact with Omar Ward and the team from Coral by Hand, just give them a call or WhatsApp 241-2765, or check them out on Facebook and Instagram with the handle omarward.carvings, or email omarward.carvings@gmail.com. But that's all the time we have for this week's edition. I'm Ryan Broom, and this has been Minding Your Business.
And that's our time tonight. Thank you for spending it with us. I'm Pearson Bowen. For the crew, to all of you, good night. By God's will, we'll see you tomorrow.